folks, Cal Kellogg here, coming to you from the Northern California foothills. Today I'm carrying one of my very favorite pieces of gear, my Ka-Bar U.S.M.C. survival knife. I did a video about this knife not too long ago, and I've gotten some questions about what I might use it for out in the woods in a survival situation or just out on a camping trip. First I'll talk a little bit about the knife. When I originally got it, it came in a leather sheath. I upgraded with a Ka-Bar plastic sheath. It retains the knife really well. If you want extra security, it also has a strap that goes around it. I don't really use it. The sheath holds it very securely. The knife has a 1095 Crovan blade. It's very durable steel, but it's also very easy to sharpen and it takes a great edge. The handle was a traditional stacked leather, but I took rescue tape and I wrapped the handle. It's rubber. It gives it just a little bit better grip. It also protects the leather in wet situations. The leather is coated, but I figure this rubber coating outside of that protects it even more. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to show you some of the capabilities of this knife working wood. I'm going to make a tent stake or a peg, and that's something I'd use in a survival situation if I was building a tarp shelter. And I've used them a number of times in camp when I'm deer hunting, when my regular aluminum and plastic stakes have failed and I'm pretty far from town and I still need to stake my tent down. So I'm going to move the camera and we'll get started, see what we can do just using this knife and a baton. When creating tent pegs or stakes, you want to use something that's green, straight, and pretty hard. Pine will work in a pinch, but this live oak here is going to work a whole lot better simply because it's harder. Now I've selected a nice straight section of this bush. I'm going to remove a branch and then we'll take it over here to a deadfall. We'll do the fine work of actually making a stake. I've notched it on the inside. Now I'm going to pull it towards me and you see how capable that blade is. That's hardwood. Let's go ahead and remove this brushy section up top here. Get a nice view of this. And there you have it. There's our stake material. As I said, we'll move over here to some deadfalls and use that for a workbench and make a stake. Now the first thing we want to do is square this up. We need a flat surface that we're going to strike to drive it into the ground. So we'll do that now. I'm going to take it off right about here. And this technique is called batoning by a lot of the survival type guys on the internet. I'm just going to basically take a nice stout club and I'm going to drive the blade through there. It's a little awkward working in front of the camera, but we'll get her done. So that blade just wants to cut right through there. This thing's bouncing a bit, but you get the idea. Just drive that blade right through that. Got a pretty clean cut. Got a pretty clean cut there, as you can see. We can straighten that up just a little bit. You can see how exceptionally tough that blade is. There, we'll be able to drive that. Last thing to do, create the point. And I don't like to create a real short point. It makes it hard to drive into the ground. I want a more tapered point. So this is just whittling. We did it when we were kids. Same idea. Nice long strokes. Use the full length of that blade. Remove the wood. Now, blade works better if you work closer to your hand, but I like to stroke right on through it. As you can see, it does a job on that wood, and that's hard oak. this was pine, it would already be done. Start to form a point. And this doesn't have to be needle sharp. We're going to drive it into the ground, so we want it pretty sharp. Nice taper. Now, there's a stake, but we still need one more thing. We need a notch in it where we're going to attach our line. So, and that's easily done. Just work the blade, work it back and forth some, like so. You can even use your club. Give it a couple strokes just to set that blade in there. Now, working from the bottom, cut into that cut and form a notch. This Ka-Bar is a very capable whittling knife. It's a great all-around knife. You could gut and skin deer, fish, just about anything in a defense situation. It would work great for that. You can dig with it. It will not let you down. There you go. We've created a notch right here. That's where we can connect some paracord, some cordage, use it to tie down a tarp or a tent. Last thing to do is to drive it into the ground. Now, you've just seen me beat on this knife with a club, so if I were really going to drive the stake into the ground in a survival type situation, I'd probably just drive it in with the club I already created. But since we're talking about the Ka-Bar, it has a pummel on the top of the handle, and we'll use that to put this stake in the ground. The ground's pretty soft, so it should go right in. And you'd want to angle this away from the pressure. If your tarp was over here, your line was coming this way, you'd want to angle it this way so it pulls against that soil. So let's do that. Nice and secure. Well, there you have it, the Ka-Bar U.S.M.C. In my opinion, it's the finest survival knife you can own. We beat on it, we whittled hard wood with it, we drove a stake with it, and it's keenly honed and ready for more. If it's tough enough for the Marines, it's tough enough for any of my adventures. If you're an outdoorsman, a hunter, an angler, a hiker, I urge you to pick up one of these fine knives. When the going gets tough, it may just save your life.